And I'm back, and I'm going to finish saying what I was saying. And I took the screenshot of, so one of the 2 or 3 motherfuckers that was in there pushed report. But guess what, bitch? Guess what, retard? Guess what, bitch? Guess what, retard? I will be back, as you can see. And if I feel like it, I might appeal it. I might, and then I might not. But the funny thing is, I'll be back. And I will continue to post, and you won't fucking stop me, you retarded fuck. You can push the report button all you want. Push report button on yourself for having criminally insane mental illness that has caused you to become a criminal, killer, stalker, weirdo. Okay. Now, the day in the life, of the targeted individuals, it's ridiculous. And they always involved these apartment complexes and the neighborhoods of the targeted individuals. They always do, because there's a plenty of sellouts. Plenty. So they ain't stopping shit. But I wanted y'all to see that. I screenshot it just like that. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna help them out. I'll be back, dum-dum. and I still got live access in other portals. See, that's where people really went wrong. They thought I was totally reliant upon TikTok. I absolutely never put all of my eggs in no one basket. I learned that a long time ago. A very long time ago. So, anywho, day in the life, okay? Day in the life is constant. It's funny. I saw a video on TikTok, somebody was saying, if people would invest half as much energy. And I've said this as well, and I concur. This is including government, this is including whomever and whatever is involved with this shit. If they would put a 1/4% of that into becoming a decent fucking being, if they would put a 1/4 of that into checking, getting a brain scan on their own head to see why they lack the area for empathy, so that they can then perhaps get proper treatment. If they would take 5% of that, how do I not be a crazy toxic killer, weirdo bitch, nigga? If they would take 5% of that, how could I find some kind of self-love, some kind of ethics and morals, and not just the kind that I'm pretending to have on Sunday and Wednesday? If they would take 5% into self-development, and not self-development into how to be the best toxic motherfucker, but self-development and mastery so that they don't have to be. So that they don't have to look for light beings, earth angels, and star seeds to practice experiment on, nigga. How about invest 5% into why are you so fearful, to the point to where you lose your humanity and start objectifying people because you're afraid of anything that you fucking can't control, that you can't exploit, that you can't benefit off of. How about invest, okay, you got all this intelligence, you got all this smarts, you got all of this resources. How about invest in how to evolve as a conscious being without violating innocent life, like the universe and humanity is like one big junkyard of pick'em parts, but instead of picking the parts that are actually junk, you want to pick the ones that are come on the planet to do some real shit other than this bullshit. How about that? How about stop being so greedy? How about invest in how to not be a greedy glutton as fuck? How about that? How about invest in how to deal with jealousy instead of pretending like it ain't there and now then fucked around and morphed into some kind of weirdo ass killer? How about that? You're smart, you're intelligent, you're bad, you're powerful. How about invest how to focus on my own life rather than everyone else's that make me feel unimportant, and it gets me into an energy of feeling the need to sabotage them? How about that? How about if you have children, investing in how to be a fucking good parent? How to be a good representative, a good example, how to create a good atmosphere no matter where I am parent, instead of trying to fuck off somebody else's parentals. How about that? How about invest in how to not be selfish? How about invest in how to understand that you're not the only one walking the planet, and there are people that are different than you and that is equally worthy and deserving of everything that you feel entitled to? How about investing in a program like that and using your skill set, your spell casting abilities, for your children, for yourself, so that you ain't a thirsty fuck? How about that? To such an extent that you want to sit up here and follow niggas and bitches around the fucking universe. Because you feel some kind of way. How about cultivate development inside that has nothing to do with your looks and status, something that is beyond this surface level, that you can get some fucking sustenance, some substance to yourself? It ain't about your ass and your tits. And your figure and your pussy and your dick. How about get some fucking substance? How about do that? Invest in that. That might do them good. Anyway, whoop. Let me change that screen real quick. Cause I'm like, they stupid. I'm be back anyway, you dumb bitch. A dumb nigga. Okay. But let me wait. I was looking for something else. It's something else I was trying to share here. Bear with me. That's not it. Anyway. So instead of doing Rico shit, instead of being scam artists, making it your life business and mission to look for whatever scam, and I'm talking to niggas and bitches alike, and I'm talking all races and creeds and classes, because don't get it twisted. It's not just the ones that we think looking like they straight hood. Sometimes it's the pretentious, prissy niggas and bitches. And they call it white collar, you know what I'm saying? That's how they have gotten by, is on their looks and scamming motherfuckers. and looking for easy targets. Who could they take advantage of? Who could they steal from? Who could they do a team up, Bonnie and Clyde, and go, you know what I'm saying, woo-de-woo. How about take that intelligence of yours, y'all got, that high IQ, that skill set? How about even your looks? See, this is what makes divine beings, no matter how plain, no matter how average they may be, this is what heightens certain things for them, because it's an essence, not a fucking... How about use your beauty and your handsomeness, good gravy, in a benevolent sense. Not to take advantage or have leverage, but to bring some kind of joy and pleasure to yourself and joy and pleasure to others. Not just to have some kind of power through sex and so you can make them give you money and so you can make them. How about use it for kindness? Use it for something, you know, more constructive. Now, I already know where this is gonna go. I already know. I am not an anti-spicy worker. To me, it's kind of like, well, I feel like it could be unwise because you're putting yourself, you're doing a lot every time you're laying, because that's a whole nother being with a whole nother set of shit. Okay? But it's no judgment here on that. Hopefully you're I call it be an integral slut. Okay? Be an integral slut. But I'm just saying, you know, I'm speaking for targeted individuals, and just the ridiculousness and how long this kind of stuff has been going on, and the level of investments people have invested just to hurt the targeted populations and their children, and, you know, to take from them or whatever it is sickening. And it's like, this points at the degradation of these said groups. And I am talking from the elite to the least. It's degradation. What the fuck wrong with you? You finna find out. You finna find out real soon. I had heard somebody one day, I was in Barnes and Nobles, and plenty of my, you know, bounty hunters, ops, whatever you want to call it, were there. And what I heard, this one white chick with black hair, and she might have wanted me to hear it, I don't know, but she was very near me, and she was like, she said, yep, I want that access to that eternal, something to this effect. I want that access to that eternal youth. And that, it caught my attention, because I understand, as I've been finding out and getting proofs of who I am, I understand. I kept getting readings when I would do something for myself behind the scene. It would come out, it would be a card that says eternal, or eternal tree of life, healing elixir, eternal. It kept coming out like that, and I wasn't all the way sure for a long time. I was like, okay, so okay, but now I get it. I wasn't too far off. What I would use the reference of, like the movie with the boy in the bubble, and then like the first X-Men. Well, I should say the first X-Men, not the boy in the bubble, but the first X-Men, where it was a little boy that they put in a bubble. And basically they just took the life of this little boy. Okay, the boy, he didn't have no life. He was existing in a controlled facility under 24-hour surveillance, all sorts of cruel testing. He essentially just didn't matter what except for what they wanted out of him. So they were harvesting his energy to try to create, I forget what it was, because that was his mutation, is he can heal. And some people would come into his contact and then it would change something, and this just starstruck him. So they decided to lock the little boy up. Sounds familiar? They decided to lock the little boy up, torture him, drain that source of energy to fund their crooked asses. And that's what some of these whole bags of niggas is trying to do. And I'm going to make sure I get justice for it one way or the fucking other. White supremacists always wanted what wasn't theirs, huh? Since the beginning of ages. And Texas is the mecca of fucking slavery, bitch. And they old, fucking old masters that's dead, you know what I'm saying, still floating around. But as his ancestors, some of which are still brainwashed, others not so much. Crazy ass. Yeah, I want to restore my life. You ain't restoring shit. I'm going to put a curse on you and your people for everything you got off of me and my son. Wait for it. Just wait for it. Fucking siphon me or him. You dying, nigga. You finna to die. Everything that you like and you take it is going down, niggas. You finna shrivel up because your whole ass shoulda. Sure, I'll give them some poison. I'll put it in their tacos. I'll put it in their sugar. And you asked for what is on you and your people. The moment you did it. Yeah, I'll do a fake report. I'll say, I'll go here. Okay. And you asked for what's coming to you and your people. See, listen, I don't care. My empathy and compassion has now begun to get very reserved for my son, my cat, myself, and people like me. I ain't trying to hear shit. The fact that people feel comfortable with doing the things they do has made it easy for me to not give a fuck. Whereas once upon a time, and there's that Earth Angel Starseed bullshit, once upon a time, you know what I'm saying, it would have been, what about the innocent and what about, that's been the lifelong battle, to be quite honest. Because what happens to us affects whatever's connected to us, right? So for a long time, it was like, that I love kids and I love animals. Especially certain little kids. Like, case in point, there's a little boy that I miss every single day of my life. And it never changed. Ain't that weird? Like, it's the truth. There is a little boy that I have like for realsies. And I just saw 1111 missed every day because I loved him. I loved him. I love him. You know, and I didn't get to see him grow up. I didn't get to be, I couldn't. You see, but I have always had regard, but I can't say that was reciprocated to me. You know, I've always had the heart of like people as a mama or a daddy, or, you know, that's always something like that's somebody that's, you know, they ain't did shit to me. I don't want none of that. I don't want no part of it. But I'm realizing that most humans are not wired like that. That's possibly an earth angel starseed thing, or an indigo. You know, possibly. I'm really starting to get convinced, like maybe, just maybe that's, you know, because somebody came into one of my platforms, like either it was TikTok or YouTube live, and they said, money is a motivator. I can't remember who said it, but somebody has said money is a motivator. And I'm like, true. And you know what I feel about that? I feel like money just simply brings out what's already in people. I don't think that money is evil. Money is energy. That's all it is. It's a frequency. It's energy. It's currency. It is not inherently evil. Okay? Since currency has the power to, money and currency has the power to purchase in a 3D world, then there is the potential, because we have people with scarcity mindset, which is majority of humans, poor, ain't got shit, or greedy. Those are the two extreme ends. Then when someone presents to you, hey, I got a job for you. You gonna be a private investigator. Just make motherfuckers feel important. I got a job for you. You're gonna be a private. They ain't telling you that you basically just took a job in a torture program, and now you're going to have to reap something. Because that's the job you took. Of course, they're not going to tell you that. Just like any other job we get, they not going to tell us the fullness thereof. They're going to sell us the pipe dream until we're hooked. And then when we're in there, then we're going to find out the real deal. That's every job in America. So that ain't no different. They gonna come and present to you, $10,000, whatever, whoop, and all you have to do, this is an easy job, and you get to choose your own hours. We cover your we cover your gas. We pay for your incidentals, your lunch. You can take your kids with you because that's a good camouflage. You're less likely to be, discovered or found out if you look like you're just somebody out and about with your kids. And all you have to do is just simply follow this person around and take some notes, what they have on, if there was anybody with them, and where did they go, what did they buy, how long, what was the time, the date and time. And if some cases it just take some snapshots, get some pictures, That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. And, you know, do it repetitively. And just sit there with your car on. And they ain't gonna say why. It's like, well, why should you want us to do that? If we're private investigators, most private investigators want to be inconspicuous. Most legit private investigators don't want to be seen by nobody at all. They don't want even an inkling of an idea. So they're not going to be revving up their truck and sitting oddly where anybody would see you and you're looking like a sore thumb if I'm a legit private investigator. A legit one wants to be a chameleon. They don't want nobody to even get a fucking clue that they are what they are. So they're going to be parked like every other car. They're going to be looking like most of the environment that they're in. They're not going to get too close to whoever so that person may pick up. They're going to keep a certain level of, because it's only for the purposes, it ain't for the purposes of torturing them psychologically. It's for the purposes of gathering necessary data for an investigation. That's the difference between a legit private investigator and a trash bag one. That's on some torture program shit. Okay. See, that's how targeted individuals know what we know too. Because any sophisticate, any reputable, any legit investigator ain't doing none of that shit. They ain't driving in circles and revving up cars and fucking yelling and profanities off the car and putting up signs in the window, bitch, and nigga. You know what I'm saying? They ain't doing that. Not no legit motherfucker. They ain't trying to be parked to make sure that the target individual know that I'm right here, I'm right here. See, I'm right here. Anywho, y'all, I'm gonna be going live with this stuff here and there. Okay, I'm gonna shake up the program a lot, but here and there, and it's just so people can see the day in the life of what it's like when my son go out and when I go out. And it's as simple as that. Body cameras, recorders, non-internet type of stuff. Like, you have to start getting that creative when you realize that the technology is hacked. So you have to find some kind of way to, gather the data that you need. And since they like to do this psychological warfare and this covert, passive aggressive games, this is a part of how you're going to nip this shit in the butt. Oh, I was just, I lived there. I was just in my car. People can be in their car. I wasn't doing anything at 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning, with the car on, lights on, sitting there over an hour, facing the target. I wasn't doing anything. Being weird, just sitting there with the phone and God knows whatever else is in there in the car. Twigs, chickens, dead geese, who knows? Voodoo dolls. Hacking technology, because, going over there so you can hack, so you can, get close so you can tap in, bitch. So this is how we gather for Rico. So records are going to be important, dates, times, and events. And hopefully as much data and proof with that. So this is kind of like the position I'm put in. Because when you live in that kind of world, when it comes down to he said, she said, and it comes down to reputations, albeit could be false on all ends. Theirs is false, and the ones that they manufactured for you. And it comes down to that, how you think that's going to play out. So unfortunately, we have to then go, very well, I will just be sure I'm gonna wear a body camera. So every obscene and absurd thing that happened is gonna be automatically recorded. Fuck it. Just fuck it. That way, it's not gonna be a discussion. It's gonna be, look at the data. Anyway, please do support if you are a legit viewer of mine, a legit loving being, if you're so guided, if you are in a position to. I do know that not many are. Many are in my same boat. So this is just to those of you who can. And I would love to get my son out, get us both out of Texas, before his lease is up. But at latest, I would like to have us out of Texas by then. Okay? That's at the bare latest. Like, technically, as soon as I can get enough raise, I'm good with that. To do what we got to do, because I'm done. And they have lost their zip damn mind. Thinking that I was going to lay down for that shit. Rob my son of his fucking life because of they retarded asses. But everybody's supposed to care about them and their kids. Fuck them and fuck that. No, the fuck I don't. No, the fuck I don't. If people want some kind of protection and empathy and all that, but they shouldn't have signed up for Team Fuck with Brandy and her life and her kid. They shouldn't have signed up for it. The end of the story, period, point blank. I have nothing else to say about that. Mic drop.